All right, the finalists for the Jamaica Premier League, or in the Jamaica Premier League, powered by Digicel, will be known later today following the playing of the second leg semi-finals at Sabina Park in Kingston. Harbourview will take a 1-0 lead into their clash with favourites Waterhouse, while Dunbeholden also hold a 1-0 advantage over defending champions Cavalier. Or the commentary team of Donald Oliver and Chris Taylor sent us this preview package.
Well, George, we're expecting two very interesting matches as four teams battle for the two final spots. Of course, the final coming on Sunday. The first semi-final, this second leg, Waterhouse against Harbourview. And, of course, Harbourview coming in with a 1-0 advantage. And, of course, a little bit later on, the champions, Cavaliers, seeking to come from behind against a Dunbeholden team, which has been consistent all season. Of course, they did finish second in the standings as we take a look at the results from the first leg. 1-0 wins for Dunbeholden and Harbourview, as I said before. So the matchup's pretty close, and we expect a really good encounter between these two teams. Probably a little bit of jitters in the first leg, but we did see fairly good games, and you expect even more intensity for the second leg, Chris.
Yeah, it's been an excellent performance by Harbourview so far in the playoffs. I think they've really done well. They've come together as a team, and we have seen impressive performances, none more than that goal by Nicholas Hamilton to will it in the first leg. So yeah, Waterhouse some work to do. I think that the fact that Marcel Gale is not there might have played a part as well in terms of their cohesiveness and maybe the little edge that they might have had. And that's something that they'll have to work on in this must-do game.
He's on the bench again this time around, Nicholas Hamilton, but what a fantastic goal to separate the teams in that first leg.
Against the best keeper we've seen in the competition this year. 9 clean sheets for Kemar Foster, so not an easy man to beat between the sticks. And he's made some 38 saves throughout the season, so really impressive, Kemar Foster. But that strike was something to behold from 20 yards.
The Waterhouse, of course, will be missing Andre Moulton, but they have two new additions to their squad coming from injury.
Yeah, Andre Leslie is back, and Gregor Messom, who has 3 assists in 3 games.
Yeah,
Gregor Messom. So they will need the deepened squad, especially based on their roster this season in terms of how many, well, the schedule, I should say, in terms of how many games they have played, Waterhouse. But yeah, I expect them to come out full throttle. Cardell Benbow, DeAndre Thomas Thomas and company, who haven't necessarily, well, didn't necessarily do all that well in the first leg, but I expect based on the season they have had to Denardo Thomas to really come to the party today.
Yeah, of course, the second game that we're looking ahead to a little bit later on involves the champions, Cavalier. They'll be taking on Dunbeholden. They are behind from the first leg. A goal from Peter McGregor with another assist from one Nicoy Christian. 14 this season. He has been pivotal for this Dunbeholden team. Remarkable
in the middle of the park. Himself and Fabian McCarthy, what they bring, the calmness, the composure, the vision as well. And Dunbeholden, as I said, been the most attractive team we've seen in the Premier League this season. But as you said, new to this section of the competition as to whether they have enough experience within their squad from previous teams to bring them through in a slim starting lineup. We will see. But yeah, McGregor with his 8th of the season, and of course the previous head in terms of the scoring list, Atafari Bygrave, will be there to support him as well.
Yeah, as you take a look at Cavalier, they've had so many matches to play this season, maybe just a little bit weary, but they have to go into their reserve to try and push through.
And the defending champions, so they were here last year, they got it done, and I think that's something that works for them as well. Rodolphe Speed spoke about the fact that added players coming back into the starting lineup would have added some depth to them, and we certainly saw that in the previous games. So yeah, I think Cavalier will coming out as well. It's good to see the likes of Dwayne Busy Atkinson back in form, as well as Colin Anderson. So the hope will be that those players can fire at the top, and we know they like to handle the ball comfortably at the back. Cavalier, we'll see if it works.
Going to put you on the spot in terms of your guesses for the results.
I still have Dunbeholden to go through, and I think Waterhouse will carry this actually into extra time. I see 2-1 today, or maybe even 1-0 to the Waterhouse favour. And it may go all the way. It will come down to maybe the penalties at the end of it. I still have Waterhouse as an edge.
Another long night if you go to extra time and penalties. George, Lance, back to you.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Chris. So, yeah, Lance, so we know what's ahead of us. What will happen?
Well, George, it's hard for me to accept Harbourview eliminating Waterhouse. I know that Harbourview is in a zone at the moment where they're getting things done when they need to. But do you recognize that Harbourview victory in the first leg semi-final was or is the only victory they have had in regular time in their last 5 matches? They got through the quarterfinal playoffs on penalties. They had lost the last 2 of their regular season games. So this Harbourview team, even though they are still in with a shot to get to the final, it's just finding a way to get things done, and sometimes that's important. Sometimes that's the difference between a team being a championship team or not. But the body of work that Waterhouse has delivered all season, it would be horrific for them if they are eliminated tonight. So I'm going to take Waterhouse to overturn the deficit and beat Harbourview tonight. And I think that Dunbeholden will hold on to the advantage they currently have over Cavalier and go through to the final.
All right, so I think that this season, Dunbeholden have been a better team than Cavalier. Cavalier have not become a lesser team just because of the players not playing to the usual standard. There have been mitigating factors. The punishing schedule that they've had with the CONCACAF Club Championship in the Dominican Republic, plus the other factors that has caused them to lose players at regular intervals over the course of the season. And when Rudolph Speed said ahead of the first leg semi-final that game was the first time he was having a squad of 20 to work with, it's not an excuse that he was putting on the table. It's a real thing, because if you look at the Cavalier games over the course of the season, there have been key players absent in key positions, and that has hobbled the team. When you don't have a full set, a full roster, a full 23-man squad to pick from, let alone a full 20-man squad, let alone a 23-man squad, you're going to have problems, and he's had those problems. So with all those things, Cavalier have been a touch off color this season. I think it has been very good of them and resilient of them to get to this stage of the competition. That said, Dunbeholden have been better than them over the course of the season, and I expect Dunbeholden to frank that form. Waterhouse now, look, the things you say about Harbourview are true. However, I remind you about Euro 2004 and one team called Greece. Every game we saw Greece in the knockout stage, it was penalties. Yeah?
Yeah.
They ground
They weren't
their
winning
way.
in normal time.
Very unfashionable, and you could never expect that Greece would have won. Cristiano Ronaldo is still crying at the end of that game. Luis Figo and company, they beat Portugal and they won it. I'm saying that Harbourview have done what is necessary up to this point. They stopped a rampant Arnott Gardens team in regular season. They restricted them to only 2 goals in 210 minutes of regular football. 90 in the first leg and 120 in the second leg. Anybody had told you that Arnott Gardens would be restricted to only 2 goals in 210 minutes of football against any side in Jamaica, you'd have laughed them to the jailhouse or to the madhouse, because you'd have said that is impossible. Harbourview held them like that, albeit without Cephas. Fact is, Harbourview in that first leg against Waterhouse, it wasn't a fluke, the 1-0 result.
Yeah.
They deserved that 1-0 win. The question is, can Waterhouse draw a breath? Can they fill their lungs and go again? Waterhouse are the better team, but Harbourview are playing the better football right now. Harbourview and Waterhouse must improve to go through. You have to fancy them. But Harbourview, anything is possible.
Yeah, can't disagree with the point you just made, George. Still to come on the SportsMax Zone on this Wednesday. In tennis, we ask, is Serena Williams' Wimbledon defeat more a result of her fading abilities or her lack of competitive matches in the last year? Now, we'll be joined by a tennis expert out of Barbados to discuss that. And next, the young Reggae Boys are trying to qualify Jamaica for a second FIFA Under-20 World Cup. A win tonight in San Pedro Sula, Honduras will get that job done. But standing in their way, the Dominican Republic.
Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and to click the notification bell to stay informed.